for karaoke. I can't even tell
There was
you.
karaoke last night.
There was karaoke. What did they do?
I don't know. A couple of our castmates went, ended up just outside of the realm of where they were performing.
Right.
30, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah. No, and it's the thing is because everybody has their karaoke songs, right? You know, the ones that you always like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to nail this. And people are like, he's amazing. Why doesn't he actually have a recording contract? So, you know, and what are yours? I'm interviewing you now. What are your standby karaoke's? The ones where you know that you'll absolutely kill it.
Crash Test Dummies.
Crash Test. Wait.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
I'm a yarler.
I was about to say that's. I mean, it's good that you know your niche.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I also have very strong opinions about which songs should be sung at karaoke and which songs should not.
Okay.
That I very strongly believe that a song at karaoke should be no longer than 4 minutes.
Okay.
Because what the hell are you doing?
Because otherwise you're just taking up time.
Right. It should not be a ballad. Because if you're going to sing Adele, you should be Adele. But because otherwise, no. Just, you know, or Whitney Houston, you know, the I Will Always Love You. It's like, oh, honey. Right. And then the third thing is that it should not be a song that is mostly instrumental. Yeah. Like, well, so you're just up there going
Tequila?
Like, yeah, or Tequila, or Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, right? It's got maybe a minute of lyrics and the rest of it's all da-da-da-da-da-da, and the guy's up there going, right? No, don't do that. So these are, if I were dictator of karaoke, this would be what I very strongly feel like karaoke should be. But they didn't put me in charge of global karaoke, and we're all the poorer for it.
I mean, it sounds like good rules to me, though.
Right. Anyway, hello.
I'm Matt from the Geek Awakens. We're here with John Scalzi.
Hello.
We have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
Outside of the realm of karaoke.
Outside of the realm of karaoke. Yeah. I mean, fine if you want to go that way.
So you received a Hugo for Best Novel for Red Shirts.
Yes.
Do you actually feel like that was your best novel?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. The answer is yeah. Because here's the thing about this is the thing that I always tell people about the Hugos. Like, you won the Hugo. It must be. Whoa, it's amazing. And it's like, well, it is amazing. It is super cool. I recommend everybody win one.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's, you know, just as like other awards, there's more that goes into the cocktail of who wins in any particular year than whether it's your best novel or whatever. For that particular year, there was a lot more that was going on. I mean, so... do I think it's my best novel? Probably not.
Okay.
And then the question of, is it the best novel of 2012, which is an entirely different question. And what I tell people is like any novel that was nominated that year, right? Because it was Thrown to the Crescent Moon. It was, I believe it was Speed. It was 2112, and it was Captain Pulls Alliance. I think so. Those are the ones that were nominated the same year that Red Shirt. Any one of them could have won, and you'd have been like, fair.
Yeah.
Right? I don't pretend that my novel was better or worse than those. What happens is all 5 of them were worthy. There were intangible factors that came into play, not the least of which is I had been nominated for Best Novel, I think, 3 or 4 times before.
Yeah.
And it starts being the thing of, it's like, well, the novel is good enough to win, and he has been nominated before, and we do like him, and he hasn't embarrassed himself in front of the global audience yet by saying something foolish.
Always important.
Always important. And it all comes together, and the name that they said was John Scalzi, you know, for Red Shirts, and I won that year. And I'm, like I said, glad to win. Absolutely. Do I think it's worthy of the Hugo? Absolutely, I do. Is it my best? I don't know. You know, I mean, I personally think that there are other novels that do other things that Red Shirts doesn't do. But what Red Shirts did do, and what makes it worthy, is it is both an exercise in metafiction that is actually very sort of formally complex. But it's also humor. It's one of the very few. It's me and Connie Willis who have won Hugos for comedy. And so to actually be one of the few people who's written a Hugo-winning novel that intentionally makes you laugh is it's a really good feeling. So I do love the book. Is it my best? Oh, it's really hard. It does what it does extraordinarily well, and there are other books that I've done that do different things that I feel very proud of as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I actually have just finished reading Red Shirts last week, and I went through that whole mind bending back and forth with the black hole.
Sure.
And then I don't know how many times I did. I laughed out loud reading that.
Good.
So many moments.
Thanks.
You also run Whatever.
Yeah.
A very, very, very popular blog.
Yes.
Blogging and novel writing are so very different.
Are they though?
Are they?
Are they?
So I guess part of the question is, are they that different?
Right.
And then on the second half of that question, essentially, do you enjoy writing one or the other more?
Well, the thing was, so the reason I started Whatever way back in 1998, because I am old, is that I used to be a opinion columnist for newspapers. And so I wanted to stay sharp in the format.
Okay.
Right. And so I started writing Whatever just to keep practice. Now, of course, I never went back and became a regular newspaper columnist ever again. I don't know if you know this about newspapers, but they're kind of on a
they're on
down
a
slope these days. I think that's the euphemism we like to use. But it was a medium that I was used to, and so it's a medium that I continue to enjoy and continue to enjoy today. Writing novels is a kind of a different discipline, but what is really important is every sort of writing that I did prior to writing novels. I did marketing, I did nonfiction, I wrote science articles, I did film criticism and music criticism. All these different things I did all informed what I do as a novelist. All the time that I spent being a film critic influenced how I wrote dialogue, because my story school was watching films, a movie a day, every day for 5 years. Right?
It's a lot of movies.
It's a lot of working in marketing got me to be able to take criticism from editors and publishers without ego. It's like, we are making this thing. How do we do it? How do we make it work? And also just doing spec. Working in journalism helped me to write quickly and to spec, so that I turned in copy and it was clean copy. All of this stuff mattered. And with regard to Whatever, what was really useful for that, one, besides developing a fan base, was also two, the importance of communicating ideas clearly, succinctly, and with a bit of a punch, so that people immediately get what you're saying and you can move forward with that. It's no less important in novels than it is when you're writing opinion journalism or editorial, which is what Whatever usually is. So I do think it was very useful for writing novels. Which I like better really depends on what day you get. If I'm 40,000 words into a novel and I'm like, oh, I can't keep going, then I don't want to do anything other than write on Whatever, because it's that old saying that a writer can do anything they want, provided it's not the thing they're supposed to be doing all the time, right? And then sometimes I really love writing novels and just really can't wait to get up and do that story again. So it really depends on which day you get.
That's fantastic. Now, Old Man's War
is
finished. The series has come to a conclusion.
No. There's
Okay.
going to be at least one more book in the series. I have that ridiculous 13-book contract with Tor, and one of the things they're like, "You're going to do us another Old Man's War." I was like, "You're giving me this much money? Yes, I will absolutely give you one more Old Man's War." But the arc of the stories that from the first six books, that arc is complete.
Okay. And then you also, the Interdependency is finishing essentially this year with the release of
Last Emperox. That comes out on April 14th, and that trilogy is a definitive.
That's done.
That's a definitive.
So I am a super nerd. I followed you on Twitter for quite a while.
Sure.
So I was aware that you had this contract with Tor and you had these number of books. At least for me, I'm curious. You said you got one, another Old Man's War book coming. Can you tell us what else is coming down the pipeline?
Sure. No. So what happens is when I got this contract, which was in 2015, it was originally a 13-book contract, and it will basically run until the end of this decade, which is great as a writer because I'm like, what are you doing? I'm writing a book.
All that security.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which you don't get as a writer, So all my friends are like, I hate you. And I'm like, I know, I hate you too. But when we came in with the with the 13 books, right? What we did was we just assumed, and when I say we, it's me and my team. We just assumed they would like pick 5 or 6 or something.
Okay.
And so they took all 13, and they're like, "Oh, checkmate, well done, you." But we had a mix, right? We had another Old Man's War book because it's the most it's the most successful series. Why wouldn't you? Right. And we also said we would do a couple more books in the Lock-In series.
Oh, fantastic.
So Head On, which is already out. There'll be a third novel at some point. And we also came in with The Interdependency, which said it's going to be a new series, but it's going to be space opera. I can do this. The kids know I can do this. We know that this will be successful. And so you give, for something that's that long, you give the stuff that is going to work as the security blanket. Okay. And then beyond that are the new books. Like the next novel that I'm going to write is going to be a standalone space opera. Is probably going to be a little bit darker than the stuff that I'm working on. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I also have a couple of YAs that are thrown in there as well.
Fantastic!
And so stuff that they know that they can already sell because it's already part of the series or it's already been established that I have a fan base there. So new stuff, because the new stuff is important for me creatively, so I'm not just writing the same stuff over and over again, but also if that's successful, then we can
build on that.
And then every once in a while we'll just do something to be like, we don't know if this is going to work at all. Let's just try it, which was what Red Shirts was. Right?
Okay.
Like it literally was, Tor was like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I just wrote this thing and maybe you'll like it. And we were all like, yeah, I attached it to an really old contract that I had that was just lying out there. It was a $25,000 contract, and so if it failed miserably, we'd all be like, nah. And then all of a sudden it's like, it came out and people were like, yes. And then it's like, it went into the black the first week and I felt like such shit. I was like, well, yes, I did do that. Yeah. Yes, I did. But that was the whole point. It was lightning in a bottle and we didn't know it would strike. We just took a flyer to see if it would happen. So we have space in this long-term contract to do what we know worked, do what we think will work, do some of the stuff that we don't know if it's going to work, but if it works, it's going to be great for everybody. And if it fails, then we have other books coming out that will vary.
So it gives you that space for some of those writer pipe dream contracts. There's stories that you've always had that you're like, one day I want to write this story.
Right, exactly. Weirdly enough, there's enough room in this contract for failure and there's enough room for experimentation. To be clear, they can't all be failures.
No,
they really can't, because otherwise it'd be like, I don't know what to tell you. But
I don't think that's possible, having gotten this far and getting that contract. Anyways,
you would be surprised, though. It's like there's a natural arc to everybody's career, right? At some point, you start on the downslope, and what you want to do is you want to manage that glide rather than just go boom.
Yeah. So no crash landing. Just
crash landing.
Coast into the jungle.
Right. Exactly. It's like, here we go. We've made a successful landing. Now what's the next step? Oh, death. Okay.
Essentially, our last question before we kind of wrap up.
Sure.
I had watched an interview recently of yours that after you finish a novel, you like to decompress.
Sure.
Kind of for a couple of weeks, you just kind of go off the grid.
Right.
How do you decompress? What's your favorite way to decompress after finishing a long project?
Well, I can tell you the last decompression that I did, which was when I finished The Last Emperox. And what I had a whole bunch of friends that are like, you should come, we should hang out. And I'm like, oh, I can't. I cannot because I have to finish this book, But when it was finished, what I did was I have a whole bunch of friends who were in the American South, right? And I was like, I'm coming to you, right? So I went to Knoxville and Charlotte and Atlanta and New Orleans and Nashville. I did a tour of visiting my friends. And that was actually really great because I didn't have anywhere that I had to be. I don't have a job. Right. And so I could just take this long trip and just hang out with my friends a day in every city. And they were all like 3 or 4 hours away. So it wasn't, so it was far. A good drive. And then while I drive, I could be thinking about upcoming, projects and so on and so forth. And that was actually super relaxing to get to see friends and not have any other agenda than we're just going to hang out. We're going to eat food. I was in New Orleans for 2 days and I just ate Louisiana and it was tremendous. And it was a lot of fun. And so that was how I decompressed this time and it really worked out.
That sounds like a lot of fun. It's super relaxing. We're going to wrap up. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. But if our followers want to follow you on social media, how, where?
Kids, if you want to follow me on social media, on Twitter, I'm Scalzi, and my website is called Whatever. Literally just put whatever in Google, and after they have all the dictionary definitions, there it is.
First option.
First option after what does the word whatever mean? Right.
Well, awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Glad to have you. And get to enjoy the con now?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward. I'm going to go get myself a churro.
I saw the picture on Twitter.
It's churro time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.